Good evening. Emotion and relief today as 7 men linked to the Hells Angels were found guilty of murdering an innocent victim caught in the crossfire of a bikie war. Justice done more than a decade after the crime, thanks to the tireless police work which cracked the underworld code of silence. We have reporters live tonight with the latest on the verdicts. Beth Excel begins our coverage.
A moment that's taken 11 years to get to. Jason D'Esso's family emerges alongside detectives after the verdicts they've waited so long to hear.
Jason D'Esso, he was a son, a brother, a husband, a father-to-be, a friend to many, who went to his workplace on the 21st of November 2012. Never returned home to loved ones.
One by one, the killers learned their fate from a jury that deliberated for more than 30 hours over 6 days. 7 found guilty of murder, shooting Mr D'Esso dead at his Paraka workshop in a case of mistaken identity.
He was an innocent man going about his business, and he had his life cut short by a cowardly and despicable, inhumane act.
The men now convicted of carrying it out, Musa Al-Zwain, an Olympic hopeful boxer and the man prosecutors say fired the fatal shot. As well, his brothers, Hussein Al-Zwain, a Hells Angels member, and Mohammed Al-Zwain, who was a gang prospect at the time of the killing. The other 4 were linked to the Hells Angels too. Daniel Jalla was a prospective member, so too Nicholas Sianis and Kyle Pride, who was extradited from Queensland, while Ross Montgomery was an associate of the bikie gang.
None of the guilty have shown any remorse. May they one day know the actions they all undertook were uncalled for.
The jury unable to reach a verdict on an 8th man, Saywan Maradi. Loved ones on both sides filled 2 courtrooms. Al-Zwain family members lashing out and swearing inside after the verdicts were delivered. Each of the guilty men will now serve a life sentence.
Jason, you will always be in our hearts, always cherished, never forgotten. Your infectious smile, humour, kindness and connection you had with all was unique. May you finally now rest in peace.
Beth Excel is at the Supreme Court. Beth, what was the mood inside the courtroom?
Kate, it was tense. The public gallery was packed, and as for the men themselves, as those verdicts were handed down, they were almost emotionless. They didn't really react, save for a couple who did shake their heads as they heard those verdicts. Now, they'll return to court a little later in the year when submissions will be heard on their non-parole periods. And as for Saywan Maradi, it's now up to the Director of Public Prosecutions to decide if he'll be retried.
Beth, thank you. Now to Alice Montfrey's outside police headquarters. Alice, Jason D'Esso's family have thanked police.
They have, Kate. They say today was the result of more than a decade of dogged police work. Despite being up against an underworld code of silence, detectives were determined to deliver justice for an innocent man.
A crime caught on camera, a group of 9 akin to a mobile firing squad.
And what this amounts to is a daylight assassination. They've gone there with the intention to kill somebody.
Jason D'Esso was a 32-year-old father-to-be who fell victim to a bikie hit in the Paraka paint shop he owned. Shot in the head at point-blank range, but he was never the intended target.
It's disgusting, mate. Disgusting. To know that an innocent person's been taken for no reason whatsoever.
The shooting amid a simmering 18-month bikie war between the Hells Angels and the Finks. The flashpoint, a firebombing at Parafield Gardens the night before the killing. The house hit was the Al-Zwain family home. The next day, the 3 Al-Zwain brothers and 5 others went to Paraka for revenge. But the Fink they wanted dead had left the workshop just moments before the shots were fired. An underworld code then shielding the gang of executioners.
I think the whole of Adelaide know who these guys are.
It took more than 7 years of police work to charge the 8 accused with murder, lawyers battling it out for another 4. Key witnesses in the case shielded by secrecy orders. At least one potentially offered a cash reward. That man branded by defence lawyers a compulsive liar. The defence for each of the men was simple, that there was not enough proof they were there. For 7 of them, that came undone today after a trial which lasted 5 months.
A special thanks and gratitude go to all the team from Major Crime for their ongoing efforts, support and endless hours that they dedicated to solving this case.
Alice Monfries, 9 News.